In this video we're going to do a comparison between the Sony Xperia Z and the Samsung Galaxy S4 Active. We're first going to take a look at the design differences. The Sony does have a rectangular body with square corners as opposed to the Samsung S4 Active, which does have rounded corners, leading to a slightly more comfortable feel in the hand. The Xperia Z has tempered glass both front and back, leading to a minimalistic look. The S4 Active does have a plastic back to it and a glass front, obviously. Down here we have hardware buttons, whereas the Sony Xperia Z doesn't have any hardware buttons on the front at all. It's just all built into the software there in the touchscreen. The volume rockers with the Sony is just below the power button here on the right hand side, whereas on the S4 Active you do have to reach across to grab them there with your forefinger. There's flaps here covering the port on the Sony Xperia Z. There's 1, 2, 3 ports there. Sorry, 4 there. There's an extra one there. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Whereas on the S4 Active there is only the one here down the bottom, which conceals the micro USB port there. Next we'll take a look at the screens. Both have TFT capacitive screens, and also both with 1080 by 920 resolution. Both again with 441 pixels per inch, leading to very similar screens. The S4 Actives is slightly brighter. I'm not sure if you can see it there. Both are turned up to maximum brightness, and the S4 Actives is still slightly brighter than the Sony's. The S4 is equipped with Gorilla Glass. The Sony's is equipped with Sony's own scratch resistant and shatterproof glass, so slightly difference there. And then we go and take a look at the processors. Sony's has a 1.5 GHz quad core processor. The Samsung has a 1.9 GHz quad core processor, so slightly faster over here with the S4. Memory with both devices is the same at 2 GB of RAM. Both have 16 GB of onboard memory. I must say that the available memory does differ slightly, with the S4 Active having 11.2 GB available, with the Sony having only 10 available, so slightly more memory there on the S4. Both have an expandable memory card slot of up to 64 GB, so a lot of room there for expansion. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at the cameras, which are over here on the back, the primary cameras. The Sony's has a 13.1 megabyte camera, whereas the S4 has an 8 megapixel camera. Both take video in full HD, 1080p, and then we turn over to take a look at the secondary cameras here. The Sony's is 2.2 megapixels, whereas the S4 has just a 2 megapixel there, which is more than enough for a front camera. We did find in our tests that the Sony camera here on the back does take slightly fuller and more rich in colour photos. So if you're looking for a device to take real quality photos, the Sony is better than the S4 Active, which does only have an 8 megapixel camera here. Also, the Exmor lens on the Sony camera does lend itself to take better photos. Both are equipped with NFC. And then the batteries of both devices. The S4 does have a slightly larger battery with a 2600 milliamp battery in the back here, which is removable. You can take the back cover off here and access the battery here, whereas on the Sony you can't take the back off, so the battery is not removable on the Xperia Z, which has a battery of 2330 milliamps, so slightly less there on the Sony than on the S4. With regards to the software, the S4 does come with Samsung's own software, such as S Planner, S Translator, Samsung Apps. You also have here, you have the S Fit, or the S Health there, so that's Samsung only. You don't get that on the Sony, but you do on the Sony get some Sony apps. What do we have? We have Smart Connect, Xperia Link here, Video Unlimited, S Memories Online. You have Let's Start PSN to connect to your PlayStation network. So that's pretty much it with the comparisons between the Sony Xperia Z and the Samsung Galaxy S4 Active.